What's up, YouTube? Doing a primary cooling fan replacement on this 1990 ZR1, and the upper radiator shroud is concentrated evil. I want y'all to look. I'm going to show you what happens to these C4s. You can look down in my radiator there. Check that out. Because they breathe from the bottom, and they suck all that crap up into your radiator. And I don't know if you guys can see them. We'll try to show you way down at the bottom. I cleaned that out. You can see one or two leaves down there, but I had already cleaned all that out. I used a little piece of tie wire and formed it like a hook and just kept fishing it out and fishing it out and fishing it out. And I pulled out a half a 5-gallon bucket full of leaves out from that spot right there. And then I blew it out the best I could with air. But with these shrouds, you don't have, it's hard to get in there and blow out, on these things. But I got it apart now. I'm going to show you what happened to mine. I read a bunch of forums and stuff about how to remove these shrouds, and I tried it. It didn't work for me. Mine ended up cracking. I'll show you. Let me see, where is it? Right here. Right here. Let me get it down here. Right here, where the upper radiator hose is, or not the upper radiator hose, but that's where the oil cooler lines and all that stuff is on that side. But that's where it cracked. After it cracked, I decided I was just going to make me a nice cut. I got off right there a little bit, but I made me a nice cut right there. So I'm probably going to be in this thing again in the future. So I figure I'm going to make it, easier for me to work on. But let's get back to the fan for a minute, and then I'll go over what I'm going to do with that shroud with you guys. And there's a little connector down there on the bottom right corner too that I never heard anything about until I started taking this thing apart, and it showed itself. But as you can see right here, my primary fan was making a hell of a racket. The bearings gone out in it. It would run fine, but then when it would slow down and cut off, it would screech. I thought it was the throw out bearing or the pilot bushing or something. But after a little more investigation, I found that it's this primary fan. And I tried pulling this shroud up out of here, but this bracket over here that holds this air conditioning, I can't get it out. I don't know how you get it out. So instead of wrestling with it, then having to try to get it back in, what I did was I loosened my upper radiator hose and got 3 bolts, 3 10-millimeter bolts that holds that little motor on there. I took them loose, and I took my upper radiator hose loose right here. And I just pulled, I didn't lose very much antifreeze, just a little bit. Anyway, so I pulled my hose off and I pushed my radiator forward like that. You can see, it's got the hose on now, it's not going to go as far, but I had plenty of room to get that little motor up out of there. And I didn't damage my radiator either. Which, if I was a smart guy, I'd probably go ahead and replace this radiator with a 2-row or something. But right now money's tight. We're not working again today. It rained again today, so only got 2.5 hours this morning. So if it ain't broke, don't fix it. So, and my car is not overheating. Right up in here, this is underneath the front of the car. Let me see if I can find that little connector. Right there it is. I don't know if you guys can see that. See that little connector right there? That goes to some kind of little sensor up here on the left front, or the right front, passenger side front, and it's in the shroud. This is it right here. I haven't gotten a factory service manual yet to actually see what it is, but that's what it looks like. And here's the other end of the connector right here. So I didn't hear anybody mention that. I watched a few videos and stuff, and so it comes out pretty easy like that. The fan motor did. I'm waiting on the AC Delco one to get here, and I'll stick it back on there, and got rid of the air injection pump and all that stuff. And a lot of people are talking about these 3 little 7-millimeter screws that are right here. I don't know how good a picture of that I can get for y'all. Right there on that little tab sticking out right there. Let it focus. There it is. There's 1, 2, 3. There's 3 of them there, and there's 3 on the other side. 1/4 inch with extension and a universal. You can get the bottom 2 out. The top 2, you got to use a gear wrench. Get you some long gear wrenches. Use a long gear wrench and pop it out. A lot of guys are saying that they're turning this little metal tab around that the screw goes into, flipping it around and putting it on the shroud to make it easier to access, you know, and all that. This is the passenger side right here. So anyhow, right here on, this is the part of the shroud right here. I can't hold my flashlight and do stuff I want to do at the same time. Let me see if I can get it down here where y'all can see. All right, right there. You see right there? That little corner down there where that 13mm bolt goes, that's the one that I couldn't get up past these lines right here. See, I got air conditioning and I got my oil cooler lines right there. And I've heard guys say on forums that they have to cut a tab off a corner or something, and maybe that's what they're talking about. I don't know, but you know, once this part here cracked right here, see where it cracked? Once that cracked, I decided I was just going to cut this. I've got some plate stainless steel. I'm going to drill me 3 holes, 1, 2, 3 here, 3 in the upper shroud, and I'm going to put some stainless steel, a little stainless steel plate right here with 3 stainless steel screws, and I'm going to drill it and try to make it look decent. You know, I hate it broke, but I'm going to make the best of a bad situation, you know. Sometimes you got to do that. So the other fan motor's not giving me any trouble. I assume at some point it will, and if and when it does, I'll be able to take my shroud apart real easy. I won't have to fight with it. You know, I guess if you do a lot of them and you get the technique down pat, then it wouldn't be so bad. But you know, this is my first attempt on this, so this is what I got. Anyhow, that's just a few little things. I'll show y'all y'all overlooked my shop. I've got many projects going on right now, and it's like a bomb went off. Here's the old motor right here. And listen, if you can hear it. I can't make it do it one-handed, but trust me, the bearing's gone in it. You know, it's ancient. The car sat for many years, and you know, it's time to be replaced. It's 31 years old. It did its duty. It was a good little motor. So, but I didn't want to buy a Chinese one, man. And I say that even after I put that Chinese water pump on here, and it's still working great. And it was a small fraction of what factory one is, and it's doing great. I've put 3,500 miles on this car and hadn't had a bit of trouble out of it. But when it come to this little dude here, I decided I would go with AC Delco, and it was only 20 bucks more than, you know, it wasn't hundreds of dollars. It was $20 more than the little no name brand ones, you know. And so anyway, got it off. There it is. You know, I was just looking for a different way rather than pulling that shroud out to do this little motor. I don't know if you could do that bottom one over there like this, because it's down lower, and plus you got all those other lines over there. You probably couldn't. You'd have to take the shroud out, but as it is, it's working for me just like this. And just throwing a couple little tips out there if you guys are going to get into something like this. And it's nice to be able to hear and see pictures at the same time. You know, when you read a post, you don't necessarily know, I don't, about some things, like that little tab on that side over there. Maybe that's what they were talking about, that you had to clip it off to get it to come up past those hoses over there. I assume that's what it was, but I don't know for sure. But now I know, so I learned something today. Anyway, you guys have a good day, and take care, and I'll be talking at you.